An alien! Where?
How many anime have you seen? 10, 50, 100, 1,000, or maybe just one?
One!
Well, according to my anime list, I've seen over 2,000, which sounds crazy, but it's really not as much as you think. You see, that includes things like separate seasons for series, OVAs, specials, shorts, music videos, etc. However, if you were to remove all that and just count regular series as well as movies, then I've seen probably like 700 or so, which I know is still a lot.
A lot.
Now, out of all those, there's only 7 series as well as 2 movies, which I've given a 10 out of 10. Yeah, that's right. I may be able to enjoy a show fairly easily, but getting me to love one takes an insane amount of effort. For a series or film to be a 10 out of 10, nearly everything needs to be as close to perfect as it can possibly be. Now, no matter how great a series is, there's always going to be some minor flaws or even nitpicks that slightly bother me. That being said, despite a series not being flawless, its strengths can be so incredible that it manages to surpass its problems and receive a 10 out of 10. For example, there's Toradora, which is another one of my all-time favorites that I consider to be a 10 out of 10 show. The story is fantastic, its cast is perfect, soundtrack is awesome, art is amazing, nearly flawless in almost every way. The only minor annoyance is its last episode, which feels a bit cliche and disappointing, but it still doesn't ruin what is an incredible series. There's Heaven's Lost Property, which is my all-time favorite series, but that being said, its anime does have its issues, although mainly in season 2. The last 4 episodes were anime original, and they sure do feel like it. They're notably worse compared to most of the episodes that came before, but still, they're fun to watch and don't ruin the season by any means. Now, of course, there's also today's anime, The Pet Girl of Sakurasou, which is another series I'd argue deserves a 10 out of 10.
All I seem to be doing is finding stray cats in cardboard boxes everywhere. Meow, meow, meow.
Sakurasou centers around a group of high school students at an art school and all live in a dorm called Sakura Hall. This hall is specifically meant for problem students such as Shina Mashiro, who's one of the best painters in the world, however is unable to function by herself. She can't dress herself, cook, doesn't know you need money to buy food at a food store, etc. There's some less extreme cases such as Sorata, who's only here because he found a stray cat which are banned from regular dorm rooms. So because he's very stubborn, he decided to keep the cat and move in here. While everyone is living here, they all try to achieve their own goals, such as Mashiro continuing to draw, Sorata wanting to be a game developer, and Nanami as a voice actor. Throughout the series, you see them all struggle in some way to get what they want, and it's not just about their careers either. Shina as well as Nanami fall for Sorata, Misaki wants to marry Jin, and Shina's friend Rita wants to get down and dirty with Ryunosuke too. So yeah, Sakurasou is a romantic comedy drama, and in all those genres it does a great job. There's multiple romances that develop, the series is pretty damn funny, and its dramatic moments are fantastic. Guess I'll get into spoiler territory, so here's a spoiler warning for those who care. Go watch the show if you haven't already. Anyway, everyone helped Sorata make a game and they show it off during the school culture festival. All the students are having a good time playing it, but then at the very end they're all told to shout their love, which is pretty cringe. So the whole audience is silent for a few minutes and it looks like Sorata's game is going to be a failure. But then Shina stands up and screams that she's thankful for everything Sakura Hall has done for her. This moment is one of the series' best. Shina has been super quiet and emotionless up to this point, so to see her shout like this was extremely unexpected. Despite how she acts, deep down she's still just as normal as everyone else and loves hanging out with them. There's also episode 18 where Jin gives Misaki a ring and basically proposes to her, which might just be my favorite moment in the series. By this point, we've seen Misaki struggle to get with Jin throughout the whole show, and we've also seen Jin try to better himself and become a better person. He slept with older women for months and went out with Misaki's sister even though he only cared for Misaki and didn't want to hurt her. He's made some big fuck-ups and wants to become someone that he knows Misaki deserves. Sure, we don't see them get married or anything, and we already know that they both love each other, but even so, this moment has stuck with me ever since I first watched it.
I come to make an
announcement. Shadow the Hedgehog's a bitch-ass motherfucker. He pissed on my fucking wife.
The last scene I'll mention is the graduation ceremony in episode 23. This is another one of the show's strongest scenes and debatably its best too. Misaki makes a speech explaining how much fun she's had at Sakura Hall, and eventually everyone else does too. The reason for this is because Sakura Hall is supposed to be torn down at the end of the year. This means that Shina, Sorata, Nanami, and Ryunosuke won't be living together next year. They all tried to get enough signatures to prevent the school from doing so, but failed, so now they resorted to this, which ended up working. All the main characters start crying, their deliveries are great, it's extremely emotional, and I actually had to try a little bit to prevent myself from tearing up. Not like that's ever gonna happen though, right? Okay, maybe a few times in After Story and a few others, but that's it. I swear, I'm not a crybaby.
Don't talk to me like that! I know, baby!
Anyway, Sakurasou's cast is pretty great. Definitely not one of my all-time favorites like Heaven's Lost Property, Toradora, or Baka and Tess, but still, it's pretty good.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Bitch.
Nanami, Sorata, Jin, Ryunosuke, and Rita are all solid characters that I enjoy a lot. On their own, they aren't anything amazing, but them as a group is what makes them so special. The chemistry between them all is top-notch. Love seeing how their relationships develop, and it's fun seeing them all try and achieve a similar goal but in different ways. That being said, there is Misaki, who's a bunch of fun and also extremely kawaii too. She's crazy, she's got the big bobas, and she also wants to get down and dirty with Jin. Last but not least, there's Shino, who's by far the best character. She's an emotionless kudere that seems to only care about drawing. However, as the series goes on, she develops a lot and starts acting more like a regular girl. She even starts falling for Sorata. Because it's a romantic comedy, of course she's going to fall for the main character. She's funny, she's cute, she's funny, she's cute, she's funny. My only gripe with the cast is that, like I said, Shina is by far the best character, but then again, I think it's sort of ironic too. Shina is seen as this giant figure that no one can stand up to, so it's pretty funny that she also ends up being notably more likable than everyone else. My only other nitpick is that Ryunosuke as well as Rita don't get to do as much as the others. They're pretty fun when they're on screen, and I wanted to see more of them. Then again, Ryunosuke doesn't show his face, and Rita doesn't get introduced until episode 9. More time is spent on Shina, Sorata, and Nanami, which makes sense since they are the main characters. But even so, getting more of Rita and Ryunosuke would have been nice. Anyway, another nitpick is that the first third, or even just the first 4 or so episodes, really aren't anything groundbreaking. They're still very solid episodes, they're necessary and important since they introduce the characters and set up the plot as well. But still, I was sort of worried when I first started my rewatch since I wasn't super impressed until around episode 6 or 8. That's when the series picks up and turns from an above average one to an amazing one. But like I said before, you're never going to have a series where every single episode is fantastic from start to finish. That's just unrealistic and almost impossible to do. You guys all have your favorite series that you love to death, but I'm sure you can pick out a few episodes that aren't that amazing. Anyway, another nitpick would be how the anime ends. However, right away, I'll say that overall, I am happy with the ending. Jin and Misaki graduate and get engaged, and Sakura Hall gets prevented from being torn down. There's a few month time skip that shows Misaki moving in next door, and now Shina, Sorata, Nanami, and Ryunosuke are all third years. It's a pretty nice ending that shows that even when people graduate and leave Sakura Hall, there's always going to be new people that move in. Before, Misaki and Jin were the upperclassmen that helped everyone else, but now it's their turn to help out the new freshmen. Then a year later, once all 4 of them leave, it'll be these new students' turn to help out the next freshmen. This isn't anything groundbreaking by any means, but still, it's a very nice way to end the anime. That being said, this isn't perfect and there's still plot lines left unresolved. The biggest being Shina and Sorata confessing to each other, as well as Nanami confessing to him too. There's also Ryunosuke and Rita's relationship, although that wasn't developed that much, so not seeing that resolved isn't an issue. With its main characters never confessing to each other without both of them knowing though, that's sort of a problem, especially for a romance. Now in defense, Nanami does confess, although Sorata doesn't realize that it wasn't an act. Sorata also confessed to Shina, although she couldn't hear him since the choo-choo train got in the way. That's kind of annoying, but at least Sorta and Nanami had the balls to confess out loud even if they still weren't able to hear anything. Now, normally a romance not ending with its main characters together is a pretty big deal, but this is the one exception where I don't mind all that much. The thing is, we get a conclusion to Misaki and Jin's relationship with them getting married, which is satisfying. They aren't as important as Sorta, Sheena, and Nanami, but they're still some of the main characters. Seeing their relationship conclude like this is great. I feel satisfied and happy ending the anime knowing that they'll live together once Jin gets back from college. As for Sheena and Sorta, as well as Nanami, their relationships aren't finished. That being said, they developed a lot throughout the series, and it even ends with Sheena saying she'll kiss Sorta later on. Nanami also heard Sorta confess to Sheena, so most likely she'll give up on him, meaning Sorta and Sheena will go out. Eventually.
Big mouth.
It's an open-ended ending, I know, but it really isn't bad by any means. Sure, it's not great, but I don't feel miserable like when I do after watching Bakken Test every time. Like, holy shit, that series is awesome, but then at the very end, we get those last 2 episodes, and they make me want to shove a cactus up my rectum. Anyway, Sakurasou's ending is pretty similar to something like My Bride is a Mermaid's. Both end in a solid way, they're both good ways to end the anime, they're amazing as season finales, but as series finales, they aren't the best. There's plot lines that are resolved, but there's also ones that aren't, which can be annoying. That being said, I don't mind the open-endedness of these series, and I do feel satisfied when I finish them. They leave open the idea of there being a second season, but as for Sakurasou, do I really want another season? Yes, of course I want to see a definitive conclusion to Sorta and Sheena's relationship, even if I'm mostly fine with how it ends in the anime. However, from what I've heard and read a bit, the ending of the light novel does not sound good, and I think a decent amount of other fans don't like it. So, here's another spoiler warning for the light novel. Skip to this time if you want to read it for yourself. So apparently the anime doesn't even cover half of the light novel, which is pretty surprising. I'm very curious to see how the series manages to be without Misaki, and especially Jin. Then again, Misaki does live next door now, so I'm sure at the very least she's an important side character. Anyway, sometime after where the anime leaves off, I believe Sorta confesses to Sheena and they end up going out. However, shortly after this, they break up for some reason, Sheena leaves and they don't see each other for 4 whole years. Then once they do, they get back together, which honestly sounds super depressing. Why not just end the series with them going out and call it an ending? Having them break up, not see each other for 4 years, but then reuniting and going back out just sounds so stupid. Like, I guess I get what they were going for since the whole show is about dealing with the struggles of life. Would it be sort of anticlimactic if the series just ended with Sorta and Sheena going out? Maybe it would, but again, I'm just going off the basic plot points I've read online. Maybe there's a whole lot more going on that I don't know about, and this ending is somehow surprisingly great. But I sort of doubt that, since again, I'm pretty sure a decent amount of fans don't like the ending. Also, the open-ended nature of the anime might be ruined in the light novel, since I'm assuming we get to see what happens to Sorta, Sheena, and Nanami after they graduate. Does Nanami become a famous voice actor and make a lot of money? Does Sorta become a successful game developer that creates hit games like Fortnite and horse racing on the Atari 2600? Does Jin come back early and pound Misaki's pussy? Hold on, wait. That last one I actually want to see.
Fuck up! Big mouth!
Anyway, the open-endedness of the anime fits with the theme of asking what's the right decisions in life, what's important to you, and if hard work is really worth it. Does Jin make the right decision to leave for 4 years and force Misaki to wait for him? Or should he change careers and find a different job that's local and spend those 4 years with her? Should Sheena continue drawing manga even though she's capable of painting illustrations that are displayed in high-class museums? Or should she just enjoy herself and have fun with her friends at Sakurasou? Nanami spent 2 years working hard to become a voice actor, worked multiple jobs, couldn't hang out with friends, yet still failed her audition. Was all of that really worth it? Should she give up and try something easier, or should she continue doing what she first set out to do? The anime really doesn't give an outright answer to this, and that's sort of what I love about it. You're the one who gets to answer these questions. It's up to you to decide what these characters should have done and continue to do. Yes, getting an outright answer and conclusion to some of these character arcs can be even better than leaving it unanswered. But like I said, if the series really does go downhill, or at least has a shitty ending, then is it really better or worth it? I don't know, and I'm probably never going to, since I'm never reading the light novel, since I don't have the attention span to read all those boring words without pictures.
Oh wow! It's so big! He's huge! How'd he ever get this big? Wow!
Anyway, Anyway, this has been my third time watching Sakurasou, and on this viewing I was finally able to watch the series dubbed. The first time I watched it was back in 2016. I loved it so much that I got the Blu-ray and rewatched it about 5 years ago. However, not even a year after my rewatch, Sentai decided to finally dub the series after all this time, re-release the Blu-ray again, but this time including the new dub. That was super obnoxious, but because I'm cringe and watch dubs, I got the Blu-ray yet again, which is why I have 2 Blu-rays. Also, both of these cost a bit more than $40 each, meaning I spent about $87.
Was that the bite of 87?
Am I stupid for doing this? Yes! But then again, this series is special to me, so for Sakurasou, I don't mind being a bit retarded with my money. But now that I have this Blu-ray with the dub on it, what am I gonna do with this one? I could sell it or maybe ship it as a gift for a giveaway if I ever do something like that in the future, or maybe I'll give it to a homeless person to eat. Who knows?
What you say?
Anyway, as for its English dub, it's good, although it was pretty jarring hearing Greg Aries voice Sorata.
Put some clothes on! Why are you naked anyway? Are you one of those people?
I wonder why I'm naked.
Definitely did not expect his voice to come out of his mouth, but he's a great actor and one of my favorites, mainly because he voices Tomiki, who's the motherfucking GOAT. The only minor annoyance with the dub is Rita's voice, who tries to do an England accent but sort of fails.
Why, of course you are. You're dazzled by my beauty, are you not?
I can't understand what you're saying with that accent of yours.
It's funny, I'll give the actor that, but I don't think it's supposed to be. She's done barely anything else besides this, so, let's keep it that way. Okay. Sakurasou's art is great, and for a series about art students, it'd be pretty ironic if the show looked like... Character designs are great, color palette is visually pleasing, animation is good, it's a well above average looking show. JC staff made this, and this was back when they had talented members, or at least was able to give their talent enough time to make something look good. Nowadays, JC staff makes way too much shit, and nothing has even come close to the level of something like Sakurasou and Toradora, except for the Konosuba movie though. That was pretty good.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Fuck you!
Anyway, Sakurasou may have some minor flaws, but none of them lowers my love for the series. Sakurasou is still incredible, and as of now, it's my 5th favorite anime of all time. Lovable cast, pretty funny, fantastic dramatic moments, visually solid, banger opening and ending themes, and even a solid conclusion for a rom-com drama anime. The Pet Girl of Sakurasou is as close to perfect as an anime can get, which is why for the first time on my channel, I'm giving a series a perfect 10 out of 10. That's right, motherfuckers. This ain't the Pet Girl of Sakurasou. This is the Peak Girl of Sakurasou. Fucking masterpiece. Hell yeah, baby. I love this show more than EDP loves cupcakes.
Oh, I was actually coming out here to pick up a
Big mouth.
Well, that's going to do it for this video. If you liked it and want to support me, you can either leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and make sure to hit the bell. You can also support me on Patreon or here on YouTube by becoming a channel member starting at only 99 cents a month.
But shit, it was...
There's also a Discord server up that you can join using the link down below. Anyway, time to go work on my 7-hour review of the greatest anime of all time, Heaven's Lost Property. That'll be out eventually.
Meow, meow, meow.
Meow.
Meow.